It may or may not be recording.
I think we're good. Woo! Some energy going.
You're so fast with the claps now.
I know. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Okay, I think we're good. What are we talking about tonight, Dustin?
Oh, well, I guess what most of the world is watching right now, I guess. The NCAA tournament?
NCAA tournament. Basketball's going on right now. The men's tournament. The women's tournament is also going on, but not at the same time. It's Monday, Tuesday, instead of Thursday, Friday. Just in case you care. But both tournaments are pretty big events, especially in the sports world.
Yeah, it's a good thing it lasts more than one day. I think that's the exciting part.
Yeah, and I think the first few days are the best days because that's when you're going to get your upsets and your crazy,
The first two rounds are definitely the crazy rounds.
Yes.
And after that, it's kind of like...
You can kind of tell, yeah. You kind of know after those first two rounds who's the good team and who's not. But they are 19-year-old kids. I mean, sometimes you can't make a shot.
Yeah. And then sometimes you get this crazy VCU story.
Yes, the VCU story. Yeah, and the George Mason was just like it previous to that.
Oh, yeah.
If they start making their threes and the other team's not making threes...
I guess it's the same with the NBA now.
Yes.
You can't make threes and you're not going to win.
That's the game. Shoot the three. That's the game. But lost in kind of all the excitement, I suppose, would be the idea of a student athlete. Is that what we're watching? Are we watching student athletes?
Well, technically, yes. That is exactly what we're watching.
Yes, by their definition, yes.
Well, amateurism.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas, if they were amateurs, then why does everything surrounding them make lots and lots of money?
That's an interesting question.
I thought amateurs don't make money.
Yeah, nobody paid me to play amateur soccer.
I actually paid them.
Yeah, that's usually how that worked for me too. Yeah, so this idea that these kids are amateurs is kind of ridiculous, considering I've got some numbers here. There's $1 billion in ad revenue generated by the men's tournament. $1 billion. Each of these schools has their own stake in that $1 billion. Not to mention the fact that we have a 40-game regular season. 20 of those games would be at home. Ticket sales, and you've got merchandise. You've got jerseys, anything you can put a logo on, they will sell you. It's got to be going somewhere.
It's true.
Where's it going?
I don't know.
Neither do I, because one thing...
Coaches don't make that much money.
Let me think about that. We'll get back to that one. Because we do know, like you said, the money's not going to the people who are doing the actual work of... I don't know, it's not called work. They're playing the game. That's what
they're putting in work.
Yeah.
It is work.
About 50 hours a week practice schedule. That's what your major sports, your football, your basketball. I'm sure the curling team doesn't put 50 hours in, but
no, they probably all do.
Yeah, they might.
It's just some might be more demanding or more popular than others.
Yes, and the training.
Some might be more popular than others.
The training involved would be different as well. I imagine a football player, it's 365. You got your nutrition. You've got your everything's got to be dialed in constantly, so that you could play 12 games for a school that doesn't pay you.
Well, they give them scholarships. In I guess Title 1 and 2. Title 3 doesn't get scholarships.
Yeah. That's it. Those are both interesting points, like the idea that the money made from football pays for the field hockey team. The money from football pays for the ping pong team. Whatever else. The idea would be that we're sharing it. We're letting these kids earn the money, and then they're sharing it with their fellow students.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the numbers, that's not how it shakes out.
I imagine as revenues go up, the staff goes up.
Yes.
Because tuition's going up.
Amazingly,
ticket prices are going up.
Yes.
Ad revenue's going up.
Yes.
I mean, I suppose new buildings are being built every now and then, but they also have alumni that donate and stuff. But like the amount of money that comes in from NCAA money
$1 billion.
That's just from the tournament.
Yeah, that's not the tournament. Yeah,
that's not the football season. That's not the playoffs of the football season.
That's
not the bowl games.
4, 5, 6, 7. It's 7, 8 days.
That's not the baseball season. It's nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
It's 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. I don't know.
Well, it's stretched. It's 8 total days. So you have the 2 weekends. Oh, so it'll be 9 days and a championship game. So $1 billion in 9 days is not bad. I imagine you could pay for a bunch of things, but the field hockey team isn't training in the same place that the football team is training. Field hockey teams' jerseys don't look like the football team's jerseys. It's not equal.
Well, should it be? Shouldn't it be based on
what
popularity and what brings in? Because if Duke basketball brings in, let's say, $60 million from ads and ticket sales and whatever, and the field hockey team brings in $200,000.
Negative $200,000.
Yeah.
I don't know how much revenue the field hockey team's generating.
So where do you think you want your money to go?
Yeah.
Just saying.
That's true. And we're not saying that field hockey is not worthy of existing.
Well, no, it's just popularity. That's all it is. It's just popularity.
Nobody's paying to watch.
It's a smaller niche than football or basketball.
People give women's basketball a lot of shit. I actually like watching women's basketball. And it's gotten... Well, you don't like watching men's basketball.
It's true.
It's gotten 1,000 times better in my lifetime. The girls that are playing now... I'm sorry, the women that are playing now are incredible. Better than me by 100 times. Like, that's an accomplishment. But they've got all the moves. Everything else that the men's game has, the women's game has.
Well, they also play every day. You don't.
That's true. They play about 50 hours a week, imagine. Yes, and when you're a student athlete, there's no workers' comp. They do have medical facilities and trainers and...
Is your scholarship guaranteed, or is it only contingent on you playing?
That is also true. So if you get an injury, your scholarship could end. If they recruit a better player behind you after a year, your scholarship could end. And they offer you the ability to transfer, but you have to be your own marketer in that situation.
Yeah, I feel like scholarship should just be guaranteed regardless. Especially, well, not guaranteed for, like, say you flunk out or, like, something that you break the code of conduct or whatever.
Yeah,
but, like, say you blow out your knee, your scholarship should be valid for the next 3-4 years.
You would imagine, especially these teams are tight. Like if you're on a football team, those are your brothers. So you would imagine those kids would want their injured brothers to be taken care of too. But they don't get a say. This is all controlled by an athletic department.
Mm-hmm. Well, who's going to bring us the money? You can't even walk, so I guess you're getting the bike. Well, getting the bus out of here.
Yep, that's it. And we should also mention that as soon as you graduate, that knee injury doesn't stop. You have that knee injury now for the rest of your life.
And how much money did you bring in for, let's say, it's a 40 game, like, let's go with 30 games you played and then...
Hurt your knee. You can't play again. Your knee is done. Toasted.
Yeah. The very least they can do is, okay, you can attend our school.
Yeah, you can finish getting the compensation that we...
Because I'm sure the other 20,000 students in his class pay way more than necessary.
Yes. College tuitions, like you said, are not going down. Even on the schools with gigantic revenue-generating football teams.
Like, classroom, let's get off the field a little bit into the classroom.
Let's do it.
The classrooms are the same they were 20, 30 years ago.
Yes.
There's still one teacher per 50, 60 per class. Like, some classes might be smaller than others, but that's just
as you move along.
Popularity as well.
Right.
The higher the math, the smaller the class gets.
Absolutely.
There's still just as many teachers, professors, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, we'll give them that.
So where does this money go?
I don't know. It's expanding something, but
is there like a staff facility building that keeps popping up with more people that do bullshit work?
Yeah, it's incredible how much better they are at being a football team and how much not better they are at teaching kids how to do whatever.
Free think. Always just, pushing agenda.
Yes. And since we are compensating them with a college degree, how many do you think, percentage-wise, student athletes, that's all sports, not just the basketball, the football, even the field hockey, even the chess team, whatever else is a sport, how many NCAA scholarship athletes graduate? What's the percentage?
My guess would be 70 from all the sports.
You're wrong. It's 29%. That's every sport.
I would imagine, like, you get the 1 years, the 2 years from basketball. You get the 3 years.
3 years is football, usually.
I don't know the rules on baseball. Or
neither do I. It's different because they have a minor league.
Soccer, I don't know.
Neither do I. But apparently, they're not going to school to graduate. There's some other agenda happening here. What do you think they're showing up for if not for classes?
Well, they have to go to school before they can go pro.
Oh, so you're forcing them.
Hence the 1 year deal with let's go with the top 15% of the basketball players. Is it even that high?
Well, basketball's different. There's 5, the team's 11 people, so even pro basketball.
Yeah, there's still so many. There's only how many pro teams to like how many it's just
ridiculous.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It might not even be 15% of them that actually get drafted or whatever.
Right. Doubtful.
And then there's a penalty.
Yes.
For wanting to move on with your career.
That's true.
You can't play anymore. And since you can't play anymore, you can't attend school anymore.
Oh no. So what happens to you? You're forgotten. That's what happens to you.
You might be able to do some walk-on. There's some other like tiny leagues going on. Like there's a football league that just started right after the Super Bowl. That's apparently getting popular.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched any of it.
It's pretty much like the minors for football.
I think that's probably a better system, honestly, than what we're doing now. But keep going with your thought.
And then the same with basketball. There's like other programs and stuff. There's the European League, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Developmental league.
Yeah. But they don't get paid.
No.
Not nearly. I think they probably should get paid because there's tickets and stuff.
Yeah, no, they get paid, but
it's just not the same.
No, it's like an entry-level job. Yeah. So you're not getting millions of dollars, but you do get to play basketball.
And maybe walk on to a team at some point.
And maybe you want to go to college after you play for a few years. Well, guess what? Yeah. Now you go to college.
I just find the whole penalty to be stupid. Like, if you wanted to take the chance to get drafted, you shouldn't get penalized for it. Because obviously you're good enough to play on the team now. So what's the difference between the day before the draft and the day after the draft? Like, nothing. There's nothing changed with you.
Let me ask you this. Let me test your basketball knowledge. Who's the greatest basketball player on the earth right now?
Right now? Like, currently playing the game. I would go with Durant.
All right. Well, the answer is LeBron James.
LeBron didn't say of all time.
Yeah.
You said currently playing right now because he's not playing right now.
Wrong.
He's riding the bench. He's not even playing.
It's true. LeBron James, guess what he did not do?
Oh, he didn't go to college.
He did not go to college. He had an idea of what he wanted to do with his life, and so he just started in his career right
From
away.
Akron, Ohio.
Worked out pretty well for him, and I'm not saying everybody...
There's another great basketball player that never went to school either.
Who's that?
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant. Kevin Garnett. We have a lot of examples of...
Well, there's only a handful.
But there are examples...
That are well known.
There are examples of failures, too. Yes. Kids who jumped and didn't make it. But the point is, they were given the opportunity to make their own decision as an adult, and they chose a type of compensation that was better than 30% chance they would receive it.
Yeah. But you have a 100% chance of going to any recruiter office at 18, sometimes even before, with parental consent.
Yeah.
And you get shipped off the basic.
Yeah.
100% chance. If you walk in there willing to sign the paper, you're out.
Yeah. They give you a gun, send you to the desert, serve your country.
Don't pick water purifying. You'll definitely go to the desert.
Yeah. Yes, this is true, but we don't allow basketball players anymore. They have to spend a year in college.
I think that's like the NBA and NFL rules. Like, they won't do it. So they're pretty much like propagating the NCAA.
Protecting the profits of the NCAA.
Yeah.
They're forcing kids to play basketball for free so that they can profit, and then send them off to where they could actually make their own money. So there was a player, I'm going to ask you this question. There was a player on Duke this year. He's a freshman, first year in college. He's 6'8". Zion Williams. So
Nike, pay the man.
He hurts his knee.
Just because I don't watch it doesn't mean I don't know nothing.
No, you know all of the shit. You watch SportsCenter. That's what I can tell.
No, I watch sports radio. Well, I listen to sports radio.
Listen to sports radio. Well, yeah, if you watch it, it's probably boring. So Zion hurts his knee. There was a shoe incident where his shoe failed. Anyways, he hurts his knee. There's a question of whether or not he'll come back and play in the tournament. He is playing in the tournament. But that's not what I tell him if I'm Zion Williamson's...
Let's go with dad.
Let's confidant. We'll go with agent. I tell him...
Can they have agents?
No, not yet.
I don't think...
We'll get to That's what we'll do next, punishments. I would tell him that the difference between being the number 1 draft pick and having a hurt knee and being the... Because he'd still get drafted, but it would be 3rd, 4th round before he got drafted. It's a difference of $28 million signing bonus. You've worked your entire 18 years to be at this point. Duke has no loyalty to you. They
don't give a shit about you. As long as you're playing, they don't care.
1 year and you're gone. That's the whole plan for you. Everybody knows that going in.
Yeah.
Sit your ass on the bench. Wait for your payday. I know it's...
Heal the knee.
Yes. Heal the knee. Don't risk it. Everybody knows you're a great player now. We've watched you play. The highlights have been incredible. This kid's going to be great. But... He chose his teammates. He chose to play with his teammates, and I understand that. But financially, that's the dumbest mistake you can make.
Well, it's only dumb if he gets hurt, but hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah.
So if he plays and does well and nothing happens, then great.
Right.
However,
if
the knee isn't quite back yet and he tweaks it, then he has a history of injury.
Yes.
Because up until this year, what player did not get hurt or sit out, like no long-term injuries for like a 15-year career or 16-year career?
That would be LeBron James.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was what, 30? He's like what, 33 now?
He's a couple years younger than me, yeah.
32,
He's probably
33.
your age.
I think he is actually my age.
Yeah.
God, I feel so insignificant.
Yes, that man is crushing it compared to you.
Well, at 32 or 33 years old, he played 82 games.
Yes. No, not just that. The entire playoffs, and then the Olympics, and then the season starts again. And he's done this a couple of times. The guy's a machine, and the work ethic is probably what you give the credit to.
Imagine if he didn't hurt himself, they'd probably be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Unless they were really that discombobulated from him being like, yeah, they're tradable. They're tradable.
LeBron James is a genius. Yeah. The move to LA was the smartest business decision I can think of.
Well, I feel like for him it's two options. He can either go to New York or LA.
He wants production companies.
Then he should have went to Atlanta. Because you know how many movies are made in Atlanta versus Hollywood now?
Seems like a lot of animation happens in Atlanta.
Well, and the filming. Mm-hmm. Because it's cheaper to live, cheaper to do everything in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So a lot of Hollywood that used to happen in Hollywood is now in Atlanta.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I might need to move. Atlanta's a fun city.
I've never been. Well, outside of the airport.
I've been once, driving through. It's a fun city.
It's like, why do you think The Walking Dead was filmed in Georgia?
Yes, it was. The highway scenes and stuff was
all
of it. Yeah.
Even the Virginia part still Atlanta. I'm like sitting there like, I don't recognize any of this. They're close to DC, and I don't know any of this.
So I'll do a couple of numbers, and then we're going to get into the punishments, because the punishments have really pissed me off. A college quarterback, if you have a decent college quarterback, so they took the numbers before a good quarterback and then after he left and they had a poor quarterback. The difference was $17 million in revenue for the football team. A basketball player, they did the same study. It's about $24 million. So a good player is adding about $17 million worth of revenue to every season.
Now, could that be, aren't more than one people leaving?
Yes.
So that could just be like, how is the record from year to year? Like, well, Duke is obviously always like
pretty good.
Top 3.
Most of the top programs are in the running every year.
So like it could be a culmination of like 2-3 people leaving.
Absolutely.
and not just the individual. So like we can
That's
just
true.
play it safe and let's say 10 for a
Okay.
basketball player.
Sure. 10 for
Like
basketball.
an individual basketball player. Like if he was obviously the number one on the team, he should get more of the pie than the other two people that probably left.
Like Zion has been
Yeah.
a marketing maven for Duke, I'm sure. Yeah.
So he was probably closer to like the 12 of the 17,000. I mean,
Yeah.
17 million.
Right.
Million, sorry, with an M.
Millions.
So it could be a little of that. So the number might be not quite what you think.
Right.
But
And that statistic is a little shaky. But I do think there is there's something interesting about that.
Well, Zion, for instance, is probably like of the 17 million, or is it 24 for basketball, right?
It was 24 for basketball, right?
So he's probably close to like 15 of that when he leaves next year and they have 24 million less.
The next guy comes in, and probably evens around the same thing. But some of the like Tim Tebow in Florida, like some of those guys, I'm sure made a huge economic difference.
Yeah, like for some reason Tebow he got crowds going. He got his team going.
Yeah.
The man knew how to win.
Even in the NFL, but could not throw a pass and still managed to win.
He had over 350 yards when he played Pittsburgh in the playoffs.
I saw that.
And he did not play for Denver the next year.
I know.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
The next step for him.
But Eli can still be playing for the Giants.
Oh my God, don't get me started on Eli Manning. Tim Tebow, his next step after winning the playoff game with the Broncos, they lost to the Patriots the next week, but his next step was to become a wide receiver for the Jets. Nobody would even think about putting him in as a quarterback.
Like, he had to have the personality of a dick, a schmuck, or a brick. Like, no one had to like him. Like, people couldn't get behind him. There had to have been some reason in the locker room that he couldn't play. Because...
I don't know.
There is no way you can tell me that there were 32 better quarterbacks in the league when he went to the Jets and then went to the... He went to a couple of teams before he finally just went to baseball.
Right. Well, you can make this Kaepernick argument too, where sometimes they decide, nah,
well,
we don't want this guy for whatever reason.
Well, no, I get it, which is why I was like, there's something in the locker room that makes like him unlikable, unfixable.
Well, he's got the Jesus crowd on. He's got their support, no matter where he goes. And I do think he's actually genuine in that, but yeah, you're right. Something's fishy. Doesn't seem right. Let's do punishments. So if you're an NCAA athlete, let's say that you're from a lower income family, which most of your basketball, football
let's
players
just go with everyone knows LeBron James. He's from Akron, Ohio.
Say you're LeBron James.
It's not a very good part of the country.
Economically, it's suffering. I'll definitely agree with you there. If you were to accept a pair of sneakers, a sandwich.
Well, a pair of sneakers not from the school.
Right. A sandwich. Your own jersey.
That gets paid to give them to
If your mom called you and said, I can't pay the electric bill this month, and your coach said, here's the $60 for your mom's electric bill, you're kicked out of school. Mm-hmm. They're going to take every win that the team had when you were on it, whether or not you were playing a big role or not. They're going to take all of your trophies. They're going to take all of your statistics.
They can try to take my trophies. They can take me out of the Google search, but they ain't taking my trophies.
Yeah, Reggie Bush, the Michigan basketball team, the Chris Webber basketball team, one of the most famous teams. That doesn't exist. That never happened.
All the Penn State stuff from the coaches. That's just from the coaches, too.
Yeah, and that didn't happen. Those kids did nothing wrong. All the players other than Reggie Bush on the Trojans did nothing wrong. You didn't win those games. That wasn't a national championship. You must be misremembering.
We're keeping these rings. Do they get rings?
They probably should, but I doubt that would probably be a violation at some point.
You can't have stuff for free.
So we take kids from impoverished areas, we put them into schools with mostly upper middle class kids. That's who normally goes to college.
There's lots of scholarships just to get in for other stuff, but I would say the vast majority is of the middle class, depending on the school.
Yeah.
And depending on the school, it's just upper class.
Right. And if we're talking about Duke, well, that's a medical school. There's a lot of higher...
And lots of sports.
Yeah. So...
A majority of people that play sports are not from the upper middle class.
Yeah, most college kids are poor anyways. I understand that. But just being at school
And they
makes
get
you
out
poor.
even more poor.
But we put them in school and then we wait for them to get in trouble. That's the system we've created. Because you can't take a sandwich without the NCAA over your back, ready to...
Well, I guess they just can't have any sort of room of gray area.
Yeah.
It's a very white-black issue, which I don't understand why. How does the shoe company giving the kid money, because he's obviously playing for the school regardless, like, the shoe company has nothing to do with the school.
Right.
They're not intertwined at all, except for Nike and
whatever contractual equipment that they deliver, right?
Or
there's no affiliation.
Jerseys or whatever, but that will be there before. It was there before the student. It will be there after the student.
Correct.
Now, I suppose it would only make sense. They'd be a little upset, like if Nike supplied Virginia Tech their equipment and jerseys, but said kid wants to wear Adidas.
Yeah.
I can see how they can get frustrated, but they have contracts and stuff, so I don't understand.
Yeah.
They can't make the kids wear as long as the shoes are the right color, right? I guess I don't know.
Yeah, well, if I'm Zion and they made me wear these shoes and now I've hurt my knee, I don't know. I made that up. That'd be funny, though, if he was forced to. So, the kids are amateurs. They shouldn't get paid. Well, why don't we make the coaches amateurs? Let's do some coaches' salaries real quick. Nick Saban makes $8.3 million a year.
Well, I can tell you why. Because they're not attending the school for an education. They're doing a job just like a professor is.
Well,
so they deserve to get paid. Like, there's no backtracking that. I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole.
I think if you want amateur athletes, you need amateur coaches.
But amateur coaches still get paid.
No, they don't. If you're the coach of the Little League baseball team, they ain't paying you for that. You're doing that because you love baseball.
You got to make sure your son plays.
You want to help kids learn how to play the game. Nick Saban 8.3, Urban Meyer 7.6. Coach K at Duke makes $8.98 million. John Calipari, this was the highest one I was able to find. He coaches Kentucky. He makes $9.2 million. That's what they get from the school. They also, not on the books, endorsements. I've seen commercials with college coaches on them. You have media appearances. Those are also paid for. And every single one of the coaches that I just mentioned, and probably every coach of a major program in the United States, has their own radio show, which is also not counted by the NCAA as income. All of those streams go to one person whose labor force, the one who says, oh, why is John Calipari such a great coach? Well, maybe because he has excellent players. Maybe 90% of why John Calipari is successful is because of the athletes he has working for him.
Well, yeah.
Uncompensated athletes. Paying with their body, their sweat, their tears, injuries,
they
their
get paid
life.
Food and bed.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how good the food is, but...
Yeah. They can't... Well, look, I didn't get through college, but I wouldn't have got through the amount that I did if I didn't have a free sandwich every now and then. I just wouldn't have made it. It's just financially not feasible. I think the coaches should be amateurs. I think the athletic directors should be amateurs. I think the commentators should be amateurs. All of those people make money based on a labor source they don't pay. Explain to me how that's fair.
Well, life isn't fair.
Life is not fair.
And, well, the students did choose to go to school
That's
and play.
true. But if they wanted to play basketball...
Could you just wait? Is it like an age limit? Or does, like, the NBA require you to go to a college before they draft you? Or can you just be like, oh, I just won't play?
You can play in Europe. You can play in the developmental NBA league. But that's not how you're going to get drafted number one. And the number one draft pick is the one that gets the signing bonus.
So you don't think Zion would still get the number one draft pick if he...
went to developmental league?
Yeah.
I think you would have had a lot less attention, and whoever was in the game would have gotten the attention he got, and they would have been drafted number 1.
So maybe that's just a resource that the developmental league has to compete with.
Yeah, and they can't, as long as the NCAA has a chance to have games and not pay the people who are playing the game.
It's true.
You're not going to compete with the NCAA.
In Division III schools, they don't even get. They're just student. They got into the school and then they just
decided to play the sport. Yeah. I think sports are great, especially sports in school. I know a lot of kids, especially when I was going through high school, that wouldn't have graduated. They didn't have that structure. Yes. I didn't need it, but a lot of people did. I don't think we can separate it there. And I guess the high school coach does get paid.
They do.
Yeah.
So does the middle school coach.
Yeah. But it's not 9.8. $8.98 million.
Maybe if you're a Texas football coach, maybe.
Wow. Yeah.
Probably not, though.
No, not yet. If you're Billy Bob Thornton playing for Texas,
then you definitely did.
You definitely got paid for that.
So, how do you pay student athletes?
There is a system, believe it or not. It's called grad school. A lot of grad students get paid by the school to perform whatever task, TA or whatever research tasks that they've been given. And they also go to the school in their graduate program and learn. You get paid by the school, you go to the school at the same time. These kids are grad students in basketball.
Okay. So how do you pay them?
You do a flat fee, like a grad student gets.
Uh-huh.
You make it reasonable, but not... I don't think... You're right, there's a lot of these little... You can start poking holes in it. Why wouldn't Zion Williams get paid more than the kid on the bench?
Technically, that'd be against school rules.
Yes.
Because it's the Title IX.
Right.
So that means the field hockey player has to be paid the same as Zion Williams.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
So there's a very... Do you just get rid of Title IX? Or do you amend it? Do you...
No, you don't. If you want to have a field hockey program and a football program and a basketball program, then you have to pay the people who are making the revenue for you. If you don't want to have these programs, okay, you don't. What happens then? Intramural sports. College kids can figure out how to play field hockey if that's what they really want to do. There's no professional field hockey league. It's not my fault. I didn't create that
There's
system.
an Olympic team.
Right. You can do things in field hockey if you want, but there is not an economic incentive for your team to exist. Not in the same way that the basketball team has an economic incentive.
So now you're saying field hockey is not important.
I'm saying that unless the fans of field hockey make it important, no, it's not. There's a lot of people doing things that they wish were more important than where they're at. Right?
Well, everyone's important.
I wish my little shit that I'm doing was the most important shit every single day.
Yeah, I wish this shit was more important than Joe Rogan's, but it's not.
It may be if we keep bringing down college coaches. Or how would you propose we pay these kids?
I would say just take every student. Let's just say there's 100 student athletes. Let's say total income after you over the overhead. So all profit. You take a percentage.
Okay.
Say it's 20% every year.
Okay.
Gets divided to the students.
Okay.
So that year it's going to be different than the year before.
Yeah.
And the year after it's going to be different, but it's 20% divided by the 100 students.
Yeah. Your way makes a lot more sense than mine.
Instead of getting rid of said
programs.
So that would incentivize actual other sports to play longer.
Okay.
Because you can play up until you're 32.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. I guess there are some really old...
I don't think you can play more than 5 years.
There's an eligibility.
But you can play up to 32.
Right. So if you were on a Mormon mission and then you came back, you can play as an older...
Yeah.
Right.
Or say, you got hurt in high school and then, it took 3 or 4 years to, get the confidence back in your knee, and then you're like, okay, I'm good now. Let's do this. So you're 24 already, but then you can play up until you're like 29.
Yeah. Well, that's probably important too. We
Yeah.
want to give those kids a chance to get past the injury.
Yeah. So it's just a 20%. You divide it by all student, like basketball, women's basketball, football. There's no women's football, but field hockey,
Yeah.
baseball, softball, swimming. Everything that
Right.
sells a ticket or
One big pot.
generates revenue in some way.
TV contracts.
Because I imagine clubs are the ones that probably don't. Everything's just free. You just come in, you do it, whatever.
Right.
But like all the other NCAA regulated sports probably have sales to their tickets.
Yeah.
All get divided equally to 20% or 25, whatever mathematically makes sense. Because once you get past the overhead of paying people's salaries and stuff, where does that money go?
Yeah.
I don't stop finding jobs to give people. Like, does it go to the school? Like the school that has
98 million. 9.2. That's where the money's going.
Okay, so they make $1 billion in ad revenue from 64 schools.
Yes.
That is not. Like, that's a small percentage.
Well, you've got plane tickets that you had to buy and put them in a hotel, and they're all wearing the same outfit. These things cost money, Dustin. Are they drinking water?
Those outfits are given.
Fine Nike, usually.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
Reebok or Adidas
or Under Armour.
Under Armour's a good one now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting big.
Reebok's probably getting a little smaller.
I imagine so.
I imagine if it wasn't for CrossFit, Reebok might just not be a thing.
Yes.
They know it. I don't see anyone wearing Reebok.
I don't see Reebok commercials, so I know that's not going good.
There are. They're CrossFit commercials.
Yeah.
It's the only sport in them.
Skip. That's what I do to CrossFit. Skip. Not gonna be that good at that.
Oh, you don't want to do a thruster?
Not tonight. Oh, the one thing I didn't mention, and this was kind of important. So I'm gonna rewind back to what the student athlete has to go through. Media scrutiny. You're a 19-year-old kid. You just missed a free throw that could have
Do
tied
they have
the
to,
game.
though? Are they obligated?
They are obligated. So
like via their
same way Tom Brady
tuition.
is. So Tom Brady's got to go.
Scholarship. I meant scholarship. Like,
Tom Brady's got to go in front of the media. So does the kid.
now, that's part of his contract. But I don't know if it was in, like, the 52nd player on the roster of the football team misses the snap. It just happens to be the snapper.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if they're actually being interviewed either. The commentator is going to say some shit. The dude just blew it. The whole team was relying on him. He's 19, dude.
Well, yeah. It's the prime of your career, man.
You make mistakes as a young man. You're not ready for the entire United States media to come down on you.
Well.
Don't play basketball.
Sink or swim.
That's what's happening in the NCAA. I don't agree with it.
You don't agree with snowflakes should melt?
Media scrutiny is something a professional person has to deal with, not an amateur. An amateur is playing for fun.
Well, they don't have to listen to them.
That's true. They don't have to listen to them. But if you play basketball for the University of Michigan, what are the odds that you're not going to watch SportsCenter?
Well, you were at the game. You don't have to watch SportsCenter.
But you will. What are the odds that you wouldn't watch your CrossFit? Watch yourself on CrossFit TV. I don't know what that means.
It's probably some streaming service, and I would never be on that. I'm not athletic enough.
Maybe one day, if you would just put your shit together, maybe go to school as an athlete.
I can't compete. I'm over the age of 32.
No.
That wouldn't work.
Yeah, that's true. Old ass.
I missed my calling.
Maybe next time.
Next life.
So media scrutiny. That's too much.
Is it, though?
It is.
Like, okay, like there's lots of tirades from professional players. I haven't heard of any tirades from amateurs.
No, coaches. Coaches.
But they get paid. So
yeah, they get paid.
And they are obligated to sit in front of the media. Whereas
and they do TV shows and radio shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't... Nick Saban's probably a good one about having tirades of the media.
Yeah. Well, I think he's more of the Belichick kind.
Yeah.
On to Cincinnati.
Short and sweet.
On to Cincinnati. On to Cincinnati. That kind of guy.
He's making a point.
On to
He's
Cincinnati.
He's a tapper.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't like Kevin Durant's always having Twitter fights like...
Yeah, with his critics and stuff.
Yeah. So I don't understand. Like, I don't see it or even hear about it from, like, college students.
Well, it's there. They have Twitter fights too.
But I imagine the scrutiny's different. Because
Yes.
I don't know if there are... Do they have press conferences, like, for the students? Are they...
Yeah, they have the same thing that LeBron James goes through. Zion Williamson is going through that.
Please let me know if it's obligated in the comments.
Yeah, okay.
I want to know if it's obligated.
I really think it is, but I might be wrong.
But it could just be a PR stunt because, like, if you're in front of the camera, that means someone's watching you, which means someone's going to notice you from the NBA.
Yeah.
So it could just...
Yes, you're completely right.
Because a team like, oh, he can handle himself in the media. He can do this because it is part of the game.
The professional game, yes. That's true. And look, we have a self-promotional world right now.
Yeah.
Tune in, watch the show, tell a friend. We're a self-promotional society now.
Hit that subscription button. Hit the bell for
Hit
notifications.
it, let's do that. Let's make this a thing. So, it's too much. It's too much for those kids. It's not fair. They're not getting paid for any of their efforts, and it's a gigantic business.
It is a very big business.
It's a corporate business.
Which only seems to be getting bigger.
Uh-huh. That's true. It's school. It's not about school for them. It's about playing basketball.
Because most of them just have the hopes and dreams of being in the NBA, NFL, MLB.
They've been the best player on their team since they were 11 years old.
Yeah.
This is the best of the best.
Since they were 11, they were probably the best since they were crawling.
Yeah. Yeah, little Tiger Woods.
Like he was like
3 years old,
3 putting.
Yeah. But
Yeah, so everything to get those
everything
2,000
turned out
hours.
great with him. So
Yeah, he's a millionaire. He gets
Yeah.
to play golf.
billionaire, yeah. He's
Yeah.
a media icon, a American hero to some.
To some.
Yeah. He changed.
American tragedy to others.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Swedish maids. So the last thing, or we have 2 more things to get to. Sports betting. Because one of the themes on our show, Dustin, is what? Prohibition doesn't work.
No.
Telling people
No, it
they
doesn't.
can't do something that they want to do only forces it underground.
Yep, sure does.
So, it is currently legal to make a lot of different kinds of bets. Fantasy football is now legal.
Well, fantasy football has always been legal because it's
a
a
skill game.
It's
Like
skill.
Poker skill. I get it.
Yeah, it's a skill.
Yeah. Also gamble, but skill.
No. Yeah, it's about articulating your words. That's all it is.
But it is still illegal and probably against most HR policies to have a work tournament pool. And that...
Well, during work, yeah, probably.
That is happening. That has happened on Monday, Tuesday of this week, all over the country. Tens of thousands of people have filled out these brackets. You're not stopping people from betting on sports by making it illegal.
No. Well, the federal government made it legal. It made it up to the states, but most states...
And there is problematic gambling. Like, I'm not saying that it should just be everything go free.
Yeah, but that personality is... If it wasn't gambling, it was going to be drugs. If it wasn't drugs, it would be alcohol. If it wasn't alcohol, then it would be, like,
Food.
porn.
Yeah,
If it wasn't porn, then it would be food. If it wasn't food, then it would be, like... I don't know. I can't think of any more things.
Whatever else people do. Yeah, I agree with you there, but it's a problem people suffer with. It's a problem that has its own...
risk reward. But they always say the house always wins.
And that is the case that I
But they
found.
added 0 and double 0 just to...
No, I still go... Wait, there's been 2 reds in a row? Black. It's got to be black this time. I know how numbers work.
There's no way... it's green. It went green. Thanks.
Gambling is fun. You get a little rush from it.
Yeah.
And
I
it
play
can
poker
get
all
away
the
from
time.
And it's getting away from people. People get their knees broken and stuff.
Not as much as I used to, but...
Currently, there's $10.4 billion in betting on the NCAA tournament.
I imagine that number probably went up this year.
Yeah.
Because some states legalized it. It's legalized in New Jersey and stuff like that. So I imagine the betting is a little easier. Before it used to just be Vegas and then some VPN way on your phone to do some gambling or through bookies. And
yeah.
It's just becoming easier.
Yes. And there's contests now, like every ESPN, all of these companies now.
Like, what was it?
CBS Sports, everybody does it.
5-6 years ago when some company said if you get a perfect tournament, you get $1 billion.
Never happened. It's never happened once. Never will happen. Why? These are kids.
I think there was like more. It's more likely to get struck by lightning every day of your life
than get a perfect bracket. Yeah, I believe it. I've never been close. I'm terrible at brackets. I do them every year.
I don't know where I'm at. Currently, there's only been 6 games.
Yes.
I think I already got one wrong.
So it started at 12.
This year, the first round, I just picked all the higher seeds.
That's how I normally do it.
And the 6 or 7, I might flip flop every now and then. But there was an upset, like a 13 beat a.
Yeah. There was
13 and 3.
That
or
16 and 1, 15 and 2, 14 and 3.
So it was a 13 and 4. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to watch, and if I had a lot of money on it, it'd be less fun for me. That's why I don't.
Oh, it'd be more fun.
No, sir.
When you're up, but then it'll be way more stressful when you're down.
Yeah. One thing I learned very early on was do not bet on New England Patriots games.
Losing. Don't bet on them losing.
No, don't bet ever, because if you win your bet, you're at the highest ever. If you lose your bet, that's about as low as it gets.
No, they could lose to the Eagles. Or the Giants.
Yes,
good old Eli.
The NFC East, apparently. Why do we always end up talking about the Patriots?
Because football is way more entertaining than any other sport.
I think you're secretly a New England Patriots fan.
No, I actually hate them. Unsecretly. Because I'm a Colts fan. So,
I know you're a Colts fan, but we never talk about the Colts.
We will next season.
Okay. I'm looking forward
when you guys don't even show up to the championship game.
Maybe not, but it's been a while.
It's going to be the Colts versus Kansas City?
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, Kansas City's probably favored to win the Super Bowl, I would say. Wouldn't you?
Well, it depends.
Next year, yeah.
I want to see the rest of the free agency. I want to see what goes on in the draft and stuff.
Yeah.
But,
are you buying the Raiders?
I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I don't know either.
Like, they were tanking last season. And then they get Antonio Brown. I mean, to be fair, it was kind of a steal.
Yes.
A 3rd round and a 5th round.
He's an aging wide receiver, but yeah.
Well, and the money they have to pay him now, but still. For what they gave up for what they're getting, I think they won.
Yes.
They won the deal, but I don't understand what they're doing from last. Like, they get rid of the best defensive player playing.
Best defensive player in the league. Phenomenal talent.
And possible great receiver currently producing average. But Amari Cooper I feel he's good. He's just, I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, he reanimated Dallas. I think you could say that.
But if you kept him, kept Mack, got Brown,
you got the quarterback, mate. I mean, I feel like you
work
got
on the offensive line,
yeah.
And then I don't know how you.
What's Gruden doing?
I think he's been too long out of the game.
Maybe.
I don't know.
He might believe his own bullshit now that he's been talking into a microphone.
Yeah, I don't.
It's an easy thing to do.
Maybe he just doesn't like Carr either. Like, maybe, I don't know. Does he just? I have to make it my team. I can't use anything that was here before me.
Yeah, that could be it. Let's think. Well, he won his Super Bowl by stealing another man's team, Tony Dungy's team, and taking them and winning.
Well, New England stole his other one too from. That was a fumble. I don't care what weird rule or interpretation of that rule is. The tuck rule, that shit was fumbling out of his hand.
It was a fumble, but it wasn't.
It's just like.
So it isn't, but it was. I agree with you. That was a fumble. Everybody who watched that game saw a fumble. But they don't win unless Vinatieri makes maybe the 2 best field goals in NFL history. In the snow. In the wind. Little line drive. I'm just saying the Patriots did win the game. You're right. They got a call that helped. But they still had to win after the call.
Well, no, I get it. But
yeah, that
was a very big call.
Yes. I've seen Aaron Rodgers get...
Just like that offsides this year. What the fuck was...
That was clearly an offside.
No.
That's not Patriots cheating, although I'm sure there are a bunch of ways they cheated.
Which is just crazy, because like 2 plays before that, there was a weird call where he like chopped his shoulder pad, but they called him for roughing the passer, hitting the helmet.
Yeah.
And like, clearly.
Nobody saw it. It doesn't hit his head. Yeah, I remember the play.
So, like, that whole drive was just very questionable.
Yeah. There were some weird pass interference calls in that game, too, where a guy would get mugged, no call. A guy would get tapped.
Call.
Flag, yeah. It was a weirdly officiated game.
Just, like, that whole playoffs was very weird.
Yeah.
Even the Saints,
yes.
Saints game was just like, how did you miss that?
Yeah.
He tackled him.
Well, and they apologized afterwards, which is...
You should have never apologized.
Yeah, that just makes it worse.
Just keep your mouth shut and don't let it happen again.
Somehow we managed to go from basketball to football. I could have guessed knowing you, but...
football's just way more entertaining.
That's what I wanted to bring up next. Why do you think it is that we like sports? Not everybody does, but I would say a majority of people at least like one sport. What is it about sports?
Just an escape. Because you get to see humans do unhuman, perfect things.
Right.
That, like, if 90% of the world went out and just tried to do that, they would fail.
The Tiger Woods example.
Like, we've been doing it since, I don't know, Roman times.
Yes, competing.
Gladiators.
Life is a competition. This feels like a pretty good simulation of what...
Everyone just likes to see what humans are capable of.
Excellent.
And sports brings out the best.
Yeah. People like to see excellence. People like a team, seeing a team develop, become working together. That's an important thing to see. And it not only for the team does it create a community, but when you're rooting for a team, like say the New England Patriots, there is a community of people around you.
Well, yeah. It also gives you something to think about than your miserable life.
Yes. There's
it's
another
an escape. It's like same as movies and entertainment. It's all just escape.
Yeah, it's a story. We tell ourselves stories about these teams and the players.
You just wait till you go in your slump of your story.
And
2 decades later.
Yeah. And sports, unlike other aspects of our society, is a meritocracy. Meaning if you are good, you get to play. If you're not good, they're not going to force you out on the mound to throw a 62-mile-an-hour fastball because your daddy owns the team.
That would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious. You've got to be able to throw a baseball or you're not going to be a professional baseball player.
Like you got to be able to do it.
And the team usually that is the best wins, or at least makes the most plays, however you want to qualify that. But it's unlike the rest of our world. It seems to operate on who is the best? Okay, let's find out. Whereas our life is not that.
It's all about who you know, playing the political game, doing this, doing that. Whereas in sports, like, if you're good, you're going to get noticed and you're going to be able to play. And then I always wonder if you took someone like LeBron James and he played football instead of basketball, would he be like the legend he is in basketball?
With the work ethics there. Yeah. So I would assume he would be good, but no, I don't think he would be the best football player ever.
But I suppose like doing stuff with teams is a lot harder than basketball. Like there are stars on every team.
Yes.
And it's very easy to notice them. Whereas in football, outside of the quarterback,
right?
Like you're dependent. Like as a receiver, there is not one job harder that doesn't even revolve around you.
Yeah. Everybody's got to do their job, and then
there's 9 other people that you're depending on before you even get to do your job.
Right.
So if one person fails at their job, you don't even get to do yours, which is just crazy.
Let's add another. The coach has got to call the right play. You got to have everything
Yes.
working in your favor to be successful in football. And basketball,
And you even got to hope the other team doesn't do something against the rules.
right?
Just like go off sides or something like that.
Something crazy like
Pass
fumble it, but
interference,
not fumble it.
Yeah, I don't. It's just way more dependency on other things
True.
in that sport. Whereas basketball, you're like, I'm going to take it to the hole myself.
Yeah. A lot of times in football, we get into those kind of debates like, is Joe Montana better than Tom Brady? Well, I think the 49ers wouldn't beat the Patriots if they played in a game, but
Well, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know either.
It's just like, is Tyson better than Ali?
Yeah.
You'll never
How
know.
are you going to find that? Yeah. I don't want to fight either of them.
I would for money. I would definitely do.
You would take a punch from Tyson?
Sure would.
How much money? 20 grand?
Sure.
5 grand?
No. Well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to...
It's a concussion. That's what you're going to have. So
Maybe.
how much is a concussion worth?
Well,
Oh,
considering what I do for my job, I think I can take one.
And Mike Tyson now, or Mike Tyson
His prime.
in his
I'd
prime,
fight him.
just a big...
Well, I'm not going to let him hit me. We're obviously boxing here.
You're not going to let him, but he's going to.
It's still going to seem like I let him.
Yes. I played Punch-Out. That Mike Tyson's pretty tough.
I don't even know how you beat that guy. It's just a big glove that goes through the whole screen.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. But
worth it if you get
I'm surprisingly bigger than Mike Tyson.
height-wise? Weight-wise?
Weight-wise.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, I'd put my money on Tyson. But
I'm just saying, there's weight classes for a reason, Mike. There's weight classes for a reason.
I'm glad you brought this up because that's the other thing I think we like about sports. Life or death stakes. Now, it's not
Please don't mug me, Mike.
technically, yeah. It's not technically life or death, but we talk about it like it is. The playoffs.
Playoffs?
Win or go home.
Playoffs?
Yeah.
Who said anything about playoffs?
You win or you
Sorry,
lose.
if you don't get that reference, I apologize.
That's a Colts reference.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay. Win or lose, it's life or death. It's our guys against those guys, and we're battling it out. It's life or death stakes. It's every movie that you watch is
Well,
about that.
People make it seem like it's like,
It's not technically, but it allows us to have those kind of themes
yeah.
and play with them in a way that's not life or death. It's not threatening, but you know what I'm saying. That's where we put that
And
in.
the division that beats you all the time in Super Bowls, I feel like it has that. They put that pressure on themselves way more than any other division.
Yeah. They play a certain way too, and if the rest of the league could just figure out what that way is, it would be a lot harder. And let's be clear, Atlanta should beat Patriots. They didn't.
So they didn't deserve it, apparently. But
The Chiefs should have beat the Patriots this year in the AFC Championship game, but they didn't. And I keep saying, but they didn't, and Tom Brady in the same sentence over and over and over again. That probably means he's better than we're giving him credit. And everybody gives him credit. Best player ever. Best quarterback ever. Jerry Rice is probably the best player.
best players questionable.
Yeah, you could. Yeah,
I just think there's with Brady is like he's statistically on paper the best quarterback ever.
yes,
Probably and that ever will be.
right.
I can't even say the other word I was about to say because it just makes it seem like I'm counter-offering it, but not even saying like old teams, future teams, but like even this culmination, is it like the coach quarterback duo that does it?
Yeah,
Because even like this past year, like Brady lost some of his arm. Like
Yeah,
it seemed
no.
like he was doing lots of dinks and dunks, and he pretty much was the face, just like Peyton Manning was in the Super Bowl, his last one. The man couldn't throw, but he knew what
Yeah.
the defense was doing.
Yeah.
Like there was no way he didn't know.
clearly, yeah. That last season with
Obviously,
Peyton Manning.
Obviously, Brady's still got a few more steps than Manning did his last
Yeah,
Super Bowl
the neck,
appearance.
there's no. I mean, the neck is a huge thing.
Yeah, but I just wonder how much if you like just mix things around like in any other situation, like if you just put Brady in the Colts and Manning with New England,
Yeah,
would New England still have 6 rings in the past 2 decades.
Yeah. If Peyton Manning was a quarterback,
For Bill Belichick.
For Bill Belichick and Tom Brady for
And Manning took less money. Like, he had, like, same situations, just the only things is...
Same players, same team. So you got a good defense in New England. Indianapolis never had the great defense until a little bit later in Peyton Manning's career. They weren't great in the beginning. That's what New England was known for, was defense.
And not even, like, spectacular defense. It's just...
frustrating.
Never... Well...
3s, not 7s. That's been their game since I've been watching.
We'll get a 3, but we'll also get a 7. They'll get 2 3s, so we're going to do it again all day long.
Yep. That's every quarter is that. 2 3s, a 7, and a 3, and that's why you win the Super Bowl.
And sometimes they just get 7s all day long. But...
Well, they did have that year. And that's the only... That year with Randy Moss is the only year I saw Tom Brady toss it down the field like that.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't had the same level of player.
Well, then he just knew. He's like, well, this guy's just going to catch the ball.
Yeah. Which is also a point to your comparison. If you put Marvin Harrison and Tom Brady together, that might be different. If you put, if you give him that offense, which was ready to go for Manning, maybe that's different than...
Yeah. All these, like, weird things, like, because in sports, with team sports, it's very hard to say,
yes,
well, this guy's the best. Well, he also had the best circumstances.
Right.
Like Zeke, his his
rookie
year, he had the best offensive line in the league.
Yeah.
So you just be like, I don't know if I would have got as many, but I'm like, I still could have been good behind that offensive line.
The late 90s Denver teams were all, it's a different running back this time. 1,500 yards, 1,800 yards. They would just put a running back in and he would get the yards.
Yeah, like look at the Rams this year. They took a guy that was sitting the bench for like 6 months.
Yep.
And they were both just spitting out 150-yard games.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Parts of that scheme. That coach in L.A., the Rams coaches.
Yeah, so like what if you just put Zeke on that field? Or, well, I guess, because Gurley is, I don't know, Gurley's Gurley. He's great.
Like you said, it's impossible to do this with team sports, but it's also a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think the best team sport that you can make, well, he's the best ever, is baseball.
Okay.
Because baseball is the most individual team sport I have ever watched played.
It starts with a one-on-one. Every play starts with a one-on-one.
It's like
pitcher, batter, pitcher, batter.
Because that pitcher threw against every batter in that league that year.
Yes.
So you can just be like, okay, well, he hits the best off this guy.
Yeah. If you've watching any baseball lately, they're moving.
It just started. What do you mean lately?
I mean, this past seasons.
Oh.
The last couple of years. The shifts that they're doing now are getting more and more exaggerated. So they've got the data now, and they know that guy...
They changed that rule this year. A pitcher has to pitch for 3 batters.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They just changed that.
Oh.
And halfway through the season, I believe they're moving the mound back. I forget how long, but I don't understand what... I think they're hoping that people will have that split second decision time to...
We can't have the Red Sox win again. So we've got to stop the Red Sox from winning. That's what this is about.
Did they win?
Yeah, they won last year.
I don't remember that. No.
Okay, well you don't.
It was the Astros. It was definitely the Astros. No, maybe it was the Dodgers. No. It was the Astros.
Pretty good series. A young Red Sox team. Most of them are returning, but okay. Yankees are pretty good, but meh.
Well, that's what helps that there's no salary cap. I don't understand why does baseball have no salary cap, but every other sport has a salary cap? I don't get it. Because do they make that much more money?
Yeah. The Yankees, if you look at the amount of money made, the Yankees, Dodgers, Red Sox, the big...
No, I mean from sport to sport.
Oh. Yeah, and the salaries in baseball are ridiculous, too. They're the highest salaries.
It's the same as, the highest paid baseball player is, getting paid the same as a Harden.
Yeah, okay. That's probably pretty close. But that's way more than Ezekiel Elliott's going to get paid. Way more.
Wait, football is just because there's not enough.
You don't play very long. It's a much
larger revenue's team. Down because
people were kneeling. I don't know why people.
52 players compared to the 14 people in basketball.
Yeah, that's a large team. Yeah.
there's a lot. I guess there's just more division going on in football.
Yeah. It's harder
The
to
quarterback
build a
takes a big
team.
chunk of it.
Yes, as I guess they should. It's a hard job. You get paid to do the
Well,
hard
it's
job.
just the most used job as well. Like, tight end could just not do anything for a play, but the quarterback still has to do something almost every play.
Touch it every play, except when his team's playing defense and he's watching.
Which is why I never got when it's like, oh, the two quarterbacks are
Yeah.
going against each other.
Brady versus Manning.
They don't even play against each other.
No,
Not even once will they be on
And
the
they're-
same field at the same time.
they're like really big friends. they know they're not playing each other. I don't think they wish each other well, but they're friendly.
Yeah, it just that whole concept doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, well, no, it's more like, and now I can't think of any quarterbacks' names that with defensive, like Lewis versus Brown, but he's a linebacker and he's not going to guard Brown, so it's weird. It's weird how we have that
we don't
quarterback versus quarterback thing.
No, we don't do J.J. Watt versus Tom Brady either. We don't
Yeah.
have that matchup. We do receiver quarterback. That makes sense. If they're playing, whatever. If he's a shutdown corner. Because usually there's some kind of team coverage, and then it wouldn't be quarterback versus receiver.
Yeah, I guess not everyone could be a shutdown. The no-fly zone.
That was the big difference in the Patriots defense, was they got themselves a shutdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
you say, man.
This was a very Patriots-heavy podcast. I apologize, but I don't apologize either. Excellence is excellence.
I mean,
Grow up.
the world talks about winners.
Yeah.
And, well, they win, so
They did win.
I guess we got to talk about them.
You know, it was the largest Super Bowl victory they've ever had this year. 10 points.
Oh.
They never win by more than 10. Trust me. I've watched all those games. They're all too close.
Have they lost by more than 10?
I don't think so. They lost 14-10 to the Giant, or 17-13.
14?
17-13 to the Giants. I don't know. I'm wrong. I could be wrong about that.
I don't remember, like,
I don't think that they've lost by more than 10, but I could be wrong. The Eagles beat them. No, it was 8 because they had a chance late against the Eagles to tie it. But they lost that game to the Eagles.
yeah, well, they get to play again next year. Oh, look, they won.
And we probably got 2 more years of Tom Brady, just to warn you. At least 2.
I know.
They're going to have to drag that guy off the field. He's
Yeah.
going to have to, his leg's going to have to fall off.
Well, yeah, that's what goes first. It's not their arm, it's their legs.
Yeah.
Which is weird, but
We don't wish that on Mr. Brady.
I'm not knocking on wood.
I know you're not. I got both of us.
Oh. All right.
I think that's our NCAA sports discussion.
That turned into Patriots football.
I'm going to try to do that every week now. Now that I know it's a possibility.
I'm shipping you to Arkansas.
Fuck Arkansas.
Okay.
Okay.